Hi everybody, it's Ginger from In Sheep's Clothing here in Torrington, Connecticut, and welcome to my Shopcast. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I was trying to give myself a little bit of time to get my voice back. I apologize. So it was either sound a little raspy today and get a show done, or have to wait till next week, and I kind of opted for let's do the best we can today. I'll make it short and sweet. I kind of didn't want to miss doing this week. I wanted to thank everybody who stopped in the shop last weekend or gave their support for local yarn shop day online. Thank you so much. It was a very, very successful, very fun local yarn shop weekend. So thanks again for being supportive. It was really great. And everybody's orders should have gone out as of today. Yeah, so anyway, I sound pretty crummy because I actually had to take a sick day Wednesday because my husband came home last week with the week before with a head cold, and I'm like, I knew it. I was doomed. I would be getting his cold, and he very generously shared it with me. So anyway, I am feeling better, but I'll be sounding like this probably for a while. I'm just going to try to get through it best as I can, and hopefully no coughing. I waited to the end of the day so that hopefully most of my coughing would have subsided. So anyway, one of the projects, uh, we had such a great. Everything was such a success as far as the projects that I had specially planned for the local yarn shop weekend, and one of them was, and of course I left it across the room, was the double. I don't know why I have a terrible time with Jessica's names for her projects. Her shawl, her mosaic shawl, her double win shawl. So it was the two-color mosaic shawl. So that was a very popular piece, and we used Jody Long's Alba for that. And some people also chose to use the Earth Yarns, the Superwash Merinos. So anyway, that was a very, very popular project. And then another one was well, we had different projects for the organic cotton from Great Adirondack Yarns, a dyed yarn. And one of the projects that we had that Anne had so nicely made and had in time for the show for me, or the weekend. Sorry, I'm also getting tongue tied. Was this very pretty scarf, the bandana, the Nauset Beach bandana that's in the Cozy Coastal Knits book by Rosanna Fleischman, who will be joining us in June, the first weekend in June. So anyway, this was super popular and done it only took one skein of the cotton to make. But then I also wanted to show you, because it wasn't going to get to us in time, but I did have some people that wanted to do this. And this was the pattern called, sorry, I'm going to be coughing. May I borrow this, please? It's on Ravelry, and I believe this was a free pattern. But it takes one skein of the yarn to make it, and it's very generously sized, so you can see. And I put it on when it came in. Let me see if you can see it a little closer. It's super easy to make, and so drapey. And this cotton, it feels like there's silk in it. I don't know why, because it's just cotton, but it is glorious. So anyway, my sister tried this on the other day too, and she's like, ooh, I really like this, and I think she might have to make one for herself. But you could tuck it in like this, or you can wear it out a little bit larger, or just like a little shawlette. But this cotton, like I said, it's so soft, but also it's very light. And I have a tendency of kind of getting a little overheated. And I had put this on, and I was able to wear this for the rest of the day. I just had it on and kind of forgot that I even had it on. So this is a very nice piece. But I'll have this in the notes, so if you are interested in a link to this. So it's "May I borrow this, please?" And believe me, people will be asking you that. But for just one skein, that's a great project. And then also we have some beautiful, beautiful blues in the organic cotton too. But this is all up on the website. And let me just get ahead of myself. All prep for today. Medication, and that's giving me a dry mouth, so I have to de-dry my mouth. Okay, so we have that. And then also, it suddenly occurred to me, well, I don't know, all of a sudden I was having, I keep getting these people ordering the chiclets. And recently I've been having people ordering the Yankee Doodle chiclet. And I figured, yeah, in July, and I started to kind of, stock up on some, making sure that I was in stock of red, white, and blue yarns. Well, it suddenly occurred to me, Memorial Weekend is May 25th. So, for those of you that might not know or may need a reminder, the Yankee Doodle Yankee Doodle chiclet, I do have it in, I still have some Noro kits, and that's done with the Noro Silk Garden Solo, and then the white, the red and the white is Noro Silk Garden Solo, and the white, I believe I'm using Madara for that. Not Madara, Malvinus, which is 100% wool. So this is the Yankee Doodle chiclet, and it's just such a cute little way, just, decoration. I was even thinking, if you really wanted to, I have not updated the pattern or adjusted the pattern, but I guess if you wanted to do like a solid bottom and then make a pocket with the stripes, you could certainly do that. Like I've updated my other chiclet. So anyway, so don't forget, if you want to celebrate with a Yankee Doodle chiclet, I do have these in stock. Now also, this is the Noro yarn, and that will make one chiclet. However, I also offer, and this is either Perfection yarn from Kramer Yarns, which is an acrylic wool blend, or Encore. So whichever I happen to have, whichever combination. I have now this really great traditional red, white, and blue, and I also have a really deep navy. Now you can get this kit. You could get this kit at either half skeins, 3 half skeins, which should do you, I don't know, 2 or 3. Oh, probably 3. Well, I don't know. Depends on which size you do, but 2 to 3 chiclets. Or you can go ahead and get the full skeins, and you could go crazy and have a whole barnyard full of the Yankee Doodle chiclet. So just a reminder about that, if you need to make some holiday decorations. And then I also have a crochet pattern too. So should you decide, I don't have it in this patterning, but if you wanted to do striping, you could go back and you can, well, in crochet, see, I have never actually done that, to add the colors in crochet. All the years I've crocheted, I've never done like 2-color. I know how to do it, I just never did it. So anyway, I have a crochet pattern, just basic crochet pattern. You can do the striping and whatever you want to do. But if you need a crochet version of your chiclet, you can ask for that, and I will have that also. Okay, so I hope that you've all had a good weekend. Yesterday was a nice day. Okay, I have a whole lot of other stuff going on here that's really, I have a lot of new plans. So one of them, first off, is I have gotten more of the 52 weeks of scrap yarn in. So if you have not already gotten your book and you missed out the first time around, now's the time to get it. Now, I had mentioned, and I'm not sure, I may do it next week or I may do it the week after. I'm not sure. Depends on how things come together for during the YouTube. What I had mentioned that I wanted to do, I had shown one project that was a crochet knit project in here that has absolutely, I can't wait to do it. I have so many people that want to make this. And we had talked about going through your, because it's, scrap yarn. So going through your yarn collection or your stash, however you like to refer to it as, what I thought I might do, because I just finished doing some cleaning in the shop, and I took a whole bunch, some bags of, like, when I make kits, leftover yarns and stuff like that, or for my own projects, and got them out of the shop. Well, they didn't stay in my car very long because I'm going to be bringing them back in, because what I'd like to do is either next week or the week after, I would like to, I wish I could make a date. I should just say that I'm going to do it next week. Why don't I just say that? I will do it next week. Yeah, because if I say next week or the week after, I'll procrastinate and I'll make it happen the week after. So let's say next week, next weekend, you can plan on. If you have your book, pull it out. I am going to go and talk about this project. I am going to go through my yarn, and I am going to pull yarns for that project. And then if while I'm going through the yarns, I happen to come across yarns that I could also pull, I want to do this one so bad. I think it's too stinking cute. This adorable vest. This. Is that not the cutest? And this is done by knitting a couple strands, or depending on what your yarn is, but knitting strands of yarn together. So I think that would be great. So what I plan on doing is going through my yarn and pulling yarns aside in anticipation of using those yarns for these projects. And I thought it might be fun for you to see what's in my yarn collection, and maybe you might want to pull your collection out too and go through the book and see get some ideas of what you could do. So yes, that's the plan for next week. We will do some a little destashing, okay? Or what do they say, that diving into our stashes, okay? You will see me do that. So okay. Oh, and then, okay, so anyway, I'm crazy about the granny squares. When I saw that, absolutely had to make that. That's absolutely adorable. But while I've been discussing that, somebody stopped in the shop the other day and mentioned, asked me if I noticed this really cute little top that was just a new one that had gone up on Ravelry. It's called the Getty Tea. By Tanis Lavelle. It is adorable. I mean, I like granny squares. I like them for certain things, but I guess I'm feeling like I've been seeing more and more and more granny squares done in such a nice way. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I've seen some granny square projects that, I'm sorry, they bring me back to the 70s, and not in a good way. But I've been seeing some revived granny squares done in such a nice way, and I just think are just really very retro in a good way, or really re-envisioned. And I think that this top, the little saddle shoulder on the sweater, is done with the granny squares. Now this is done with very neutral body and then bright squares for the sleeves. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, that is adorable. Absolutely adorable. Let me see if they have any. Oh, here. This is another picture of it that you can see the square really coming down the shoulder. How cute is that? And it is fun with the bright, fun, very spring-like. So I said to myself, okay, I can jump on this because this is very, very cute. Now, I've been thinking and thinking about what I could do. I mean, the granny squares, of course, could be very, here's another picture. You know, could be very, very scrappy. I could go that way. So anyway, I've been playing with granny squares. And my thought was, first off, before I go totally scrappy, what if, because I've been wanting to do this anyway, what if I did the granny square in a multicolored yarn first? I mean, I always like a multicolored yarn to kind of like do the work for me. I don't have to think about my colors or anything. So I started doing that. And what I did, let's see, a couple things going here. So I tried out, and also I did this because I also had something else in my mind. So this was Silk Garden Sock. Now, here, I'll show you the yarn. So this was the yarn. Okay, these are the colors. Now, Silk Garden Sock has a little bit longer color run than a lot of multis do. So, I start pulling some of it out. Okay, so this was, and this is the size granny square that's supposed to be. So there's my granny square, and I don't know how well. Let me put it against something here. There you go, if you could see that better. So there's my granny square. And you can see the colors are different in the center, and then the shade, you know, then the colors change towards the very outside. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, that gives me an idea of how far the colors go, as far as the color repeats and where the changes are. And I could use that idea, could use this skein and say, not do the whole granny square, just, you know, start and then do the whole granny. Because I thought originally that's what I would do. I would do one granny square with one section of yarn, do my next square, and my next square. And what's going to happen is you're going to have 3 totally different squares. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the colors. I'm going to like do my center maybe with a dark. I'm just going to play. So next week you'll see what I end up with. But I would love to use this colorway because I do love the pops of color. So I probably do like, this is, it's okay, but I want it to be a little brighter. I mean, we're doing a granny square, so let's do a granny square. So that's what my plan is. However, in the process, I said, you know what? All right, that's Silk Garden Sock. Let's see what yukata looks like in that is also, and this I had caked down. But let's see what that does in a granny square. So see all those colors? So yukata absolutely, I have a feather. I have parakeets at home. So and I have a dog too, so I do have dog hair sometimes and things. But I don't think too many people can like pick through their yarn or something and like, oh yeah, there's a feather. But anyway, so that's yukata. So when I did the same size square, this was what happened with my colors. Let's do this again. And I just dropped my paper. Yeah, let's do it this way so you can see. Okay, so you can see the colors a little bit better. So there's a little bit more change, definitely more change in color. But that just goes to show you the difference from one yarn to the other. And again, I would probably do the same thing. You know, you could do the same thing with this one. Now, what I was thinking as far as the body of the sweater, you could go with a totally color or neutral color. But what I wanted to do, and this has been a problem for me for a while, and I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because I'm going to talk about pendles again. I have this yarn here, and now I'm going to forget the name of it. Of course I am. Going to forget the name of it. It was new for spring. for Noro. I'm just trying to see here. I'm trying to grab a skein. It's not Natsumiki. It's the other one. Oh, Campito. Okay. So the Campito is much more subtle. Like this is another color of it. So it has some other colors going on it, but it's a color. Okay, so what I did was I took one of the more neutral ones. And this, it has some little bits of striping in it, but very, very subtle. And it is very thick and thin. And this is a cotton blend. So, cotton blend. Okay, so if you have not been here with me before, I have a few things that I like and don't like, and cotton is kind of one of them. I like it to some degree for certain things, certain circumstances, and then I really hate it for certain circumstances and particular cottons. Okay, I started working this cotton. I cannot tell you how this poor ball. I cannot tell you how many times I started and stopped making something with this. I started knitting a piece, and I just didn't like the texture of it. And then I said, you know what, I've got this ball started. That got kind of put to the side. Then I started, and also, because it's cotton and it's a singles, it curls like you would not believe. It loves to twist on itself. So then I said to myself, all right, not loving that, so I just set it aside. Then I had another project that I said, all right, I've got this started ball. Let's find a use for this yarn. And I started to knit with it. And again, I did use it on the pendle, so I was able to knit with it. But I've also decided this is one of those block patterns. And with this yarn, even though I used a 7 on it, it's just too open. I really need to go down needle size on this for this pattern. So again, okay, that didn't work. Then I decided, I know I'm getting a little far field here. Then I found this other pattern. I love the pattern, and I thought, all right, I know the yarn is totally different. It's a little heavier, but why don't I try it with this thing? Loved the pattern. Loved knitting it. Oh, see, from distance, when you could see this, oh, from a distance, it doesn't look that bad. Close up, I think it looks, I don't like it. It's very, here, close up. It's very, see, close up, it's very, very textured, especially in garter stitch. Can't really see the yarn overs. From a distance, you definitely see the yarn overs better, and I think it looks better. But I find that this pattern, let me find it. Somebody also recommended this to me. It's called Workday Scarf. Also on Ravelry. This was a free pattern. I love, look how pretty that is. Now that isn't a bit of a multi. I really do have to say, here's another picture of it. I think there's just a little too much going on with this to make it, no, it's not going to work. I have been considering, and I know these are multis, but I want to use this yarn so bad. It's the Aracunia Twilight Paints. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. Actually, I have a sweater right here. There it is. Actually, no, it's not the same color. But here it is. I would have to work on it and see if I still think that's too much for the scarf. I don't know. I would have to try it out. But I'm looking around too, and I'm like, all right, what would I use as a solid for that? I'm so used to using multis that I don't know. I don't know why a solid color is Sonata would work nicely for that. But again, Sonata has a little bit of texture to it as well. And I really, really feel that this pattern is screaming for a yarn that is smooth to show off the garter and the eyelet pattern. So anyway, that is, I'm dying to do this. So anyway, okay, so we got to talk about this scarf that I like so much. But back to this yarn. because I was thinking, this yarn, I need to find something that will work with this. But I'm thinking, how about this for the body? Because I like the idea. Oh, here. I like the idea of a not so solid body with the here, let's do it this way. With the oh, this is a bad way to show it. But that with the what is it that I want to say? With the granny square. It would be a little blendy. There would be something in the body to pick up on the granny square. So I'm tempted. I really would love to find a use for this ball, for this yarn. I think this could work. Because I think it'd be subtle enough for the body without being, to me, so it would blend a little more. But I still do like the idea of the granny squares. Anyway, I am just like kind of talking off the top of my head about what my thoughts are about doing this. Oh, I know, because, okay, and then the interesting thing about this pattern is you do your granny square shoulder first, and then you pick up and you work the body down. So if I really decide I don't like this, it will be very easy for me just to change my mind and not do that. Or I could even do a color. I could just say, this just is not working for this either, because there's like a mint green, there's a lavender, there's blue, that could look cute too, and not still be a color without, being stripy like Noro usually is. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on that. And I thought this would be a fun knit along. And it might also be a fun project. I'm going to run this past Roseanne. But when she does, she's going to be doing a crochet granny square class. These squares would be great. Great way to get started and then to do the top. So I'm thinking about that. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so I would just need to figure out a way for this. Oh, but anyway, the other reason, okay, so Pendle. The reason I'm bringing this up is put it on, started working, and it changed. Changed my attitude about the yarn, changed everything because it wasn't getting all twisty on me. Same thing when I started doing, I'm sorry, I have to get a drink. Okay. Same thing when I started working with the yukata, because it has a lot of cotton in it, and also same thing with the because it's skinny too. It just started to get all twisted up on me. The instant that I went and put it on the Pendle, changed everything. I could work on it. Otherwise, I would have been ready to throw the ball across the room, because I cannot stand. First of all, being skinny is one thing, but to be twisting on you while you're working just is aggravating. And that's not why I'm doing this. It's not to get aggravated. So anyway, the Pendle has changed my life. All right, and then what else did I want to talk about today before? Oh, Noro magazine. I was really hoping we have it this week, but they're due in next week to the distributor. I'm not sure quite when I'll have it, at the end of the week, or that would be, I'm very, very hopeful, but not counting on it. So maybe in another week we will have the Noro magazine. And I have to say, this was the issue that I wasn't quite sure. They've changed their ways of when I get to see what the designs are going to be in the magazine. They've done this thing now where you don't see any pictures. It's all, here's our design concept. Here's a little sketch. They might show you what yarn they're planning on using. And the thing is, when you see the actual finished piece and on the model, it's nothing. It's just that was like, yeah, that was a tiny kernel of an idea, but when you actually see it done, it's totally different. And I have to say, this when I what I saw, I wasn't terribly impressed with. But I had hope. I had hope. Well, I did get to see what the magazine looks like now. And there are some beautiful, there's, oh my goodness, there's one that is just, I think, is the outstanding sweater. Between the colors that they used, it's an Akari silk. So the multicolors that they used and the pattern stitches, it's a beautiful sweater. And I would love to make that. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. And then there's a lot of smaller pieces in there. And there is a bag. There is a crochet bag that I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that magazine to come in, because this is the color. Now, I ordered a bunch of this for last spring because there was a sweater that I thought everybody was going to want to make that color. I think between the fact that it came in really late. And yes, it does, I know, it does have an autumn feel to it. But when you see the bag that gets crocheted up in this, it's like killer. So anyway, I have been going through all my, I'm going to be kitting this up because I have lots of this. It's all on my, piled on my desk right now. But I have 2 balls set aside for me. I think I'm not sure if that, I think that's what, I don't know why I have 2 stuck in my head. And I cannot wait to crochet it. It is adorable. It's got a very different shape. It's very different. It's just really, really cute. And yeah, so I can't wait for that to come in. And again, Natsumiki, it's one of those cottons that will be on my pendle. Yeah, so I'm very excited about the Noro magazine. Also, I think I told you, Noro Trunk Show is going to be May. I have it scheduled. It's going to be May 31st, June 1st in the shop. So I will have the garments that are in the magazine. From what I understand, also the new yarn that will be featured. There's a bunch of yarns in the magazine, but the new yarn for this season, they have one this season that will be featured, is supposed to be coming in the same time as the magazine, which is great news, because sometimes we get the magazine and then we don't see the yarn for a while. So anyway, so if you are interested, I am going to do, last season I took a break and I did not do the trunk show in the store like I normally do. What I do is I have the trunk show here. You sign up, you come in. It's 12 to 3 on a Saturday, 12 to 3 on a Sunday. You choose which day. And then we do a little lunch. We have a Ciesco Catering will do a boxed lunch. We always look forward to their lunches because they do such a great job. So anyway, I didn't do that last time, but we're going to do that this time. So you can sign up now and choose your Saturday or your Sunday and make your lunch choice for that at the same time. And then I will do an online, I'll do it here on YouTube. I will do an online trunk show, go through the magazine garment by garment and talk about the yarn. And then also, I'll be working on that this week. There is because every time we come out with the trunk show, I used to do yarn tasting packs. And this last time, and it worked out really great, even though we didn't get the yarn right away, but I did it with something different. I did a cowl, and I did it in two of the featured yarns in the magazine. And I had, one was a Silk Garden and Silk Garden solo version, and then one was the 2 featured yarns in the mag is new that came in after. So I had 2 different versions of it that you could choose from. And you got the pattern, you got the yarn, and you got to check out the new yarn. So I'm going to do that again. So instead of doing the yarn tasting pack that has a lot of yarns in it, you're going to get a yarn tasting pack, just so that you know. And I know that some of you are already looking forward to the Noro kit project. So just to let you know, it will be coming. Okay, it will be available. Okay, and then what was the last? I think there's one other thing I wanted to mention. My notes here, which I dropped. Oh, was there anything else? No, maybe that was it. I wanted to mention about the Noro, so that's good. So I got that in. Okay, so, all right. Well, I'm going to let that, I did have some other new things that I wanted to show you that I wanted to talk about the week before, but we had local yarn shop week, so I couldn't, weekend, so didn't have time to get to it. But we will get to that next week, because I definitely need to stop talking. So, anyway, thanks very, very much for watching. And I always forget to mention this. If you don't subscribe and you get a little bit of a kick out of the show, or you get something out of it, and you might like to be reminded that I'm going to be on again next week, hopefully, go ahead and hit the subscribe and, get me in your feed there so that you don't forget. And if you want to like it, that's great. And I love comments. If you have a question, I do check back, and I'm always happy to answer any questions. Sometimes people like to know, what was that garment that's behind me? What was this yarn or that? So please feel free to ask your questions in the comments, and I will get back to you. Okay? So you all have a great, great coming week, and I look forward to seeing you. And also make sure that you watch my Facebook page, where I'm always, and check out my newsletter too, which is up on the Facebook page and in the notes, just to let you know what is coming, what's coming new, and what I'm going to be up to. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and you all take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.